Cosine rule. So here we have the cosine rule. Okay. Basically, it says that the square of side length A is equal to the square of side length B plus the square of side length C minus 2 times side length B times side length C times the cosine of angle A. All right. It's a lot of information, but as long as we know which formula to choose, we can select the correct variable to substitute in, and it'll just solve for us. Okay. So down the bottom here, we have the same thing rewritten over this side. Okay, that's the same as above, but on this side, it's been rewritten to have the angle as the function, the focus. So if we're asked to solve for the angle, we use this, okay, depending on which angle we're solving for. If we're asked to solve for a side length, we would use this, okay? And then we just need to look at what information we have to work out which rule we're going to use, okay? So if we have a look at a question, calculate the third side of triangle ABC given these values. So first thing I'm going to do is draw a triangle, and I'm going to label it A, B, C. Okay, that's what it means when it says triangle ABC. It means that it goes from A to B to C. Now we know that the side length is directly opposite the angle of the same letter. So A, which is equal to 6, is directly opposite angle A. C equals 10. And we know that angle B, because it's a capital B, is 76 degrees. Okay, and we've been asked to solve for the third side, which would be side length B. So we come up to our formulas, and we're looking for side length B. So we're going to use this formula. Okay. So let's quickly write the formula down. B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of B. Let's see how I went. Did I get that right? I did. Okay, so now we're just substituting in, right? But firstly, let's just look. We have a formula for B squared. We want to solve for B, not B squared. So first thing I'm going to do is take the square root of both sides. You could do this at the end once you had your answer, but I like to write my formula so that I'm solving for what we've been asked to solve for from the very start. So substituting in, A is 6, 6 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times A, which is 6, times C, which is 10, times the cosine of B, which is 76 degrees. And we can pop all of this into our calculator, or we can simplify. Let's just simplify first to save us making a mistake putting it into our calculator. So 6 squared is 36 plus 100 squared, which is 10 squared, which is 100. So 136 minus, so remembering your order of operations, we need to resolve this first before we can subtract it from these two. Okay. So I'm not going to simplify the cosine bit. I'm just going to say 2 times 6 is 12, times 10 is 120, cos 76. Okay, that just makes it a bit simpler for me to put into my calculator, make sure I don't make a mistake. So square root of 136 minus 120 times the cosine of 76 equals 10.34. So that's telling us that B is equal to 10.34. If we do a quick check, C was 10, A was 6, so 10.34 is a reasonable answer. If we'd gotten an answer of, say, 103, that wouldn't be reasonable because these other two sides wouldn't be able to be long enough to actually connect to it. So 10.34, again, we don't have units, so we can either make them up, or if you were given this question in an exam, you just wouldn't be able to provide units.